Oh, okay, we're on. I could. Okay, guys. Oh, did I not bring my notes? I'm sorry, but I left my ancestral channelings at the table. Be right back. I channel everything from the ancestors and from the archangels and other realms that I channel in this book. So I had to go get it. It's actually a magical book because every time you channel, you're taking in the frequency of whatever higher dimensional being that you're channeling. And it's actually a really powerful book. So if you're clairsentient, which most Black people are, if you just sat and just felt the energy, you'd feel it. Oh, hey AJ. So hey, this is Ancestral Guidance, AJ from Facebook, as you very well know, because your ancestors are some pretty big people over here. So AJ's ancestor, he was visited by Mr. Amen Ra himself, so who came to him in a dream when he started doing his ancestral work. I don't think you'll mind me telling you people that, do you? Just big people in his lineage, his soul lineage, and it's so important to know your lineage. So this is Ancestral Guidance. Just remember, there's a lot of people who do energy guidance. Some just feel into the energy, some channel higher dimensional beings like angels and galactic beings. I channel my ancestors. I do that very specifically because we need that dichotomous voice. We need someone. Angels are great, galactic beings are big, but they haven't necessarily had an earthly experience. So when my ancestors talk, even though they say a similar concept to what the angels say, so you can look at mine and see what someone who channels angel has to say, and there'll be a little bit of similarity, but mine are more practical, more straightforward, and like this is how you navigate earth type advice. So I just find that it's a lot more grounded and straight to the point, and my lineage is definitely magician, sacred knowledge, self-empowerment, manifesting true power. So you also get that, like, make your own life, let's do this, let's go, you have the ability. Hey Cece. So this is Ancestral Guidance from the ancestors, and I like to explain who my ancestors are. Someone else's ancestors might be angelic. Your ancestors might be more spiritual, right? So it's important to know what your soul lineage is, not your necessarily what's in your blood, although it does correlate just a bit. But what the soul lineage is, your soul lineage might be gods and goddesses. It might be people who are artistic, right? And it's just so important to know the twinge of advice and where it comes from, because there's a lot of people who channel, and what you need to understand, and what I understand because I channel myself and I can see the differences depending on their earthly experiences. And mine have been melanated or dark skin, earthly experiences, but also people who are very much into sacred knowledge, occult knowledge, and magic. Just straight up magician is the word the angels call me and what my lineage is. We just have a different point of view. So if you want to hear magic, you want to hear black, you want to hear earthly, that's what you come here for. But you can listen to everyone else and put them all together and synthesize it like I do. So this was the guidance for this week. Sorry I got it out so late. I am 5D most of the times, but if you guys have ever been in a soulmate relationship, I mean, it's a roller coaster. You're connected on the spiritual level, so they can do anything, and like it hurts so much because they're like connected to your heart, even though it's like nothing. So I was just a little occupied in my 4D-ness. So, all right, here's the weekly guidance. It's actually really, really good and really important. So basically they said the energy of this week, it's meant to polarize. So it's actually, if you figure, like, think of blackface and like a funnel in the middle that gets bigger, right? And the funnel's getting bigger because energies are ripping apart. So basically it's an energy siphon, and it's really going, either higher or dark energy, whatever it is. If you read my energy healing from last week, you know what I said. If you're really not facing your fears, you're really not evolving, you're really not understanding your spiritual being, and things are gonna pile on top of you until you get it. If you already know that, you have seen a lot of opportunities open your way. Like, things are getting higher and higher. If you're watching me right now, you know what I mean? You're one of those people who's aware, so you can easily change it to the positive. So they said, be guided to go within this week, but you have to do a little work. Ask what you are called to do, as this will actually be a week of action and decision making. So this is the week to decide which way you want to go. Even just making the decision like, okay, I need to change this. As my soulmate will say, your attitude creates your altitude. So how high you're going to go is affected by your attitude. So if you're someone who's not like already at that point where you know you can create and manifest the world you want, you're unbothered by what people are doing because you're detached and you have your own spiritual journey and you know how to take care of what you want through manifesting, whatever those techniques are. If you're not at that level, right, and you're still in that 3D, 4D where it's just like things are going bad and you just don't know what to do, it's time to, like, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, because this stuff does not need to take forever. Like 5 minutes in the morning, you centering yourself and just thinking and just saying, okay, what do I need to do? And if you want to take it a step further as a spiritual being, you should always be asking some sort of higher power, either through yourself or the higher power being like God or the higher power being Jesus. Listen, I work with all of them. God, Jesus, angels, ancestors, dragons, fairies. Like, well, I don't work. Fairies, you gotta be, I don't be messing with them too much. But you know, the other ones I mentioned all the time. So whoever it might be, this is the time to really recognize you're a spiritual being and really start tapping into that higher power, because you're going to start seeing things that there is no help for it unless you go, God help me, Spirit help me, Jesus help me, ancestors help me, archangels help me. I mean, you don't have to believe me, but it really is that simple. So even if it's 5 minutes going within, and ask, what am I called to do? You will be shown and guided to what you need to do this week, but not only this week, going into what we're headed into. And like I said, if you're on that slippery slope, you have to choose a side. You have to choose if you're going to remain in that positivity space. I can create what I want. I don't have to be subject to what this world, and this world can be racist. This world can be unfair. It can be full of bullies, right? It's not pretty, right? I got something for them bullies, right? They don't even know. But, you know what I mean? But like, there are ways to deal with that so it doesn't bring you down. Not saying it's easy, but the situation, literally all you need to be shown and guided. When we say that we're spiritual beings in an earth body, you need to understand that that gives you responsibility and it gives you accessibility to so much more. Like, my whole world right now is trying to get as much of the infinite. We are a spark of God. We are part of Him. He made us through His image. I am trying to get as much of the information from my soul self, my soul lineage, my magician lineage, mine. I've had 800 lives lineage. I'm trying to every day get so much help and support from my, I just picture this like a ball above my head, from my higher self. And that is the difference between my walk here on earth and so many else. It's not that I'm necessarily super duper special, but I do understand that I can lean in and ask for support on high and get it, regardless of if it's your higher self or God or Jesus or whatever. So I would suggest doing that, because you are a spiritual being. So why ignore most of this? Because this is all an illusion. This is all simulation. You can manifest whatever. I didn't like that. This is what I'm manifesting, right? When you learn that it is just like a matrix, like, I'm going to do a video on like the movies that are actually very accurate in portraying what we're going through, as well as the books that were very accurate in portraying what we're going through. And I remember reading and watching all this. I was like, this is real. I remember watching The Matrix in 2000 when it came out. I was like, this is it. There's something about that makes me realize it's just like that, and it really is. So, Cece said, this is on point. I was struggling with updating my resume. It's time to rise to the next level. Yes, and Cece, it's so, like, it's all on your energy. You know, I work with people in group coaching programs, and it's interesting. People who come disappointed stay disappointed, and people who come positive stay and remain positive, and they have different outcomes. And it's just because as you are in this energetic state, if it's out of, I use to alchemize it, like for instance, when you are disappointed, like it's easy just to call on your, God, Jesus, Archangel Michael to take some of this energy out. You don't want it. That goes into the particular, but it really is on you to control your energy. I'm not saying it's easy. That's the lesson. That's what we're here to learn. Like, how can you rise above when everything's going bad? Now, I tap into higher self, higher powers to go, hey, I'm struggling. Help me out. I don't hesitate. I do that multiple times a day. And through actions, through showing me what they're doing, through other people, things showing up on my, important to rely on that if you don't know what to do, because sometimes we just don't know what to do, and that's when you're supposed to reach on higher to your higher self or whatever source you want to go to get to that level. And if you start doing that, trust and believe, man, life is so easy. I'm like, why don't you? And they're like, oh, because it wasn't big enough. Everything's big enough. You're important. Every stressor you go through is important. So do not hesitate to lean on the higher power. So for those just joining, I'll just summarize. This is a week of polarization, picture energy, and like a funnel of energy going through black space, but a black cloud comes. This is the image I got. And like it's pulling away. And right now, polarization is happening. Go within and see where you're supposed to be. If you're on this lower end and things just keep piling up on you, release it, change the mindset, do what it needs to do. If I do higher power, but if you want to rely on yourself, journal it out, think, take the 5 minutes to reset your mindset. It is definitely time. You're going to be noticed, so post below if you do notice there is a polarization. If things have been sort of escalating, if you're on that downward trend, if things have been piling on, but also tell me if you have been on that upward trend, if you've noticed opportunities opening up and just the world, there's certain people who are right now going, life is great. Like, which one are you? I want everyone to be like, life is great, but at the end of the day, it's your choice and what energy you're going to show up in, and it's your choice what energy you're going to stay in, because sometimes you have no choice but to show up in a certain energy if life is continually beating you down, right? Like, you're going to show up beat by any means necessary. So I love you guys. I hope you guys are all on the upward trend with me as well. No one's perfect. I know I go I know I have my ups and downs. I said at the beginning, I'm in a soulmate relationship. That stuff is super stupid intense. I cry at the drop of the hat, but I don't do that. But when you're connected at the heart. So I have my down moments too, right? Like, but at this stage in the game, you just know how to correct learning lesson, and I try to go with this, my fundamentals and principle. And it's also like, basically what's the learning lesson, and it also gives me the point, well, what do I want? And then I use my manifestation, let me know, I don't want this in my life anymore. And it's okay, just honor that. If you honor that this bad situation brought this up, this is what you do want, if you just honoring that and making that intention is enough to come. So I'm going to get off with that, but go ahead and post below if you are on the upward or downward. And if you're on the downward, we support you, we love you. And if you need any help, let us know. Just a word of encouragement, even if it is over Facebook, is enough. So see you guys later. Hope you enjoy the reading. Hey, helper. Oh, you joined just a little bit late, but you can rewatch the broadcast. All right, bye Facebook. Cece, thank you. AJ, I hope that was helpful. Okay. Later, I don't see any